Shawnee, welcome back. So today I figured I would do a little look and chat about the news. I had makeup on because I was working, but I think I've managed to take all of it off, or at least enough of it that we can put new makeup on. And of course, I was perusing the internet and stuff jumped out at me as things we really need to talk about. Now, we're going to do a blue look. I'm going to use the Lure palette from Blend Bunny, and then I'm going to use some singles, probably from Davina and or Cleona. The reason I'm doing that is to prove to all of us that we don't need that new Natasha Mini Trichrome. Now, there's a bigger Trichrome. I don't have that one, but I know some of you do. And the way Natasha is describing the mini Trichrome that she just released is that it's an extension of the larger Trichrome. So she said the rows, each row in the larger palette corresponds with a color. Like, I think there's maybe like a purple row, a pink row. I'm not sure. I don't have the palette. So she's saying that this new one is basically an extension. It's like the next row, the blue row of the palette. Now, this palette has 2 royal blues, a periwinkle, 1 multi-chrome, and 1 like shimmery blue shimmer, silvery blue shimmer. The reason I say 2 royal blues is because one is defined as a medium royal blue and the other is like a deep or dark royal blue. To me, it's royal blue. So we have those. If we have more than one palette, we have those, right? The periwinkle, I don't know. You could or couldn't have it, but do you really need it? Do you wear it? Is it going to be ashy on your skin? The silvery shimmer, probably have that too somewhere. If you got a few shimmers, you probably have a silvery one. And then the multi-chrome, if you have any shades from an indie brand, you definitely have multi-chromes. So I figured, let's do a look. Let's prove to ourselves that we don't need the palette. And let's talk about some news. Okay, so I'm going to go in with the Colored Rain paint base eyeshadow base in white. So I was on the internet and I was reading something where this woman was kind of being called out for an interesting reason. So she was wondering, I guess she went to an event. Okay, back up. She has 1 child already and they had some difficulties getting pregnant the first time. So they had some infertility issues, and just as they were about to be like, nah girl, whatever, they got pregnant, right? Super excited, everything. So they had their first child, and then like some years later, they were trying for a second one. And I can't remember if this pregnancy was easier, I can't recall, but they got pregnant and they were like, talking to folks at an event, and they were like talking about throwing a baby shower, and people were like, that's selfish, that's being greedy, that's being ungrateful, you don't need to have a baby shower for your second baby. And I was like, I had never heard that. But you know, part of it, I don't have 2 babies, I don't have 1 baby. So I'm like, maybe this is just not my wheelhouse, is not something I'm quite up on. I feel like though, I try to keep up on stuff because like there are people around me that have babies. So I was like, Jan, Erica, are you not supposed to have a baby shower for your second baby? And they were like, what? What, like why? And I'm like, because apparently if you have a shower for the first baby, and especially if the second one is close behind, like a year or 2 years, that you don't have a baby shower for the second one. So the people that were shaming her were like, you already have stuff from the first baby, and like, you're being greedy asking for more gifts. Here's the thing though, it didn't, I mean, I guess gifts are inherently expected for a baby shower, but it didn't sound like she was doing the shower to be like, give me more gifts. I mean, and to me, her situation is really different because the time between the first child and the second child is like a decade. Things are completely different now. And I'm going to tell you a bit more about that when we talk about text communication. So what do you think? Let me know, because I think before, like Miss Etiquette, Miss Manners would say, it's inappropriate to have a baby shower for your second child. You could have a sprinkle, and then if you have a third one, you can have a mist. I'm tired of us making up stuff. Okay? Now, I went ahead and went down the rabbit hole of trying to look stuff up, and it is true. It is the truth. It's not proper etiquette to have a shower for your second child. Now, the thing is, if I'm up in your womb and I'm hearing that you're not going to have a baby shower for me because I'm your second child, I would be real upset. I would come out real upset. Like, I don't understand why you had a baby shower for my older sibling, but you didn't have one for me. I feel like we already getting off on a bad foot, mother. So let me know what you think about that, because if I were birthing babies, I feel like I would have another shower, and I wouldn't even think of it as like, give me more gifts. I'm thinking, let's celebrate, especially since this person had like issues with fertility. Like, let's celebrate, okay? You can bring a gift if you want to. I'm sure even if they have stuff from the year before, like, you probably want to get some updated things, right? You don't want to be using the same car seat. Like, you know what I mean? So I thought that was so interesting that they were like shaming her for talking about another baby shower. Let me know what you think. I could be, I could be reading too much into it, and maybe it's proper etiquette that I was just a little unaware of. I mean, I went to a prep school where they taught us proper etiquette, but this wasn't included in the manual. So I'm going to go in with this first shade called The Deep. Now, since I read that, then I went further down the rabbit hole of etiquette, of proper etiquette in our society. The first thing I came upon that I felt like it was real important for me to read is proper communication via phone and message and things like that. Now, some of us remember, like, not having cell phones. You remember. So we would have the landline at home. And to me, it wasn't even called a landline. It was just called a phone. And you would have the pay phone, right? You could do that. And that was it. Then there were the pagers or the beepers. You were real cool if you had one of those. And then, girl, I'm talking about if you had call waiting on your landline, or if you had caller ID, and you had a fancy phone where you could see who was calling you. And if you had 2 lines up in the house, you were living large, okay? So I remember these things. Oh, wow, okay, we need to text about that. It's one of my supervisees. So yeah, I remember that. I remember, like, my friends would call and they'd talk to my parents and be like, hi, Mrs. B, may I speak to Shawnee? And you're like, hello. And actually, my brother was always on the phone. Remember the long cords? He would have the cord stretched from the living room into the bedroom. He was always on the phone. You got the phone back and it was all hot because his cheek was pressed against his shoulder. My brother's, like, baby picture, or he was like 3, is him with a phone. Like, kid you not. And it still is true today. Anyway, so now that we are into the cell phone era and we've moved to more high-tech phones and stuff, I remember my first phone and it was like a brick. And you had to do what was it, TT, like the texting where you had to push the number 2 to get A, B, or C. You know what I'm talking about. If you know, you know. But now it's real different. So this person was talking to their 22-year-old child about, like, phone etiquette, because the child was like, mother, you're doing it all wrong. And so it's like, okay, teach me, girl, teach me, because we got to consult with the young folk to determine what's going on, what's appropriate, what are the words that we're saying now, what are the clothes that we're wearing, like, what's happening, keep me up to date. So one of the things I learned, according to this 22-year-old, is that it's rude, judgy, and passive-aggressive if you use punctuation in a text. Y'all, I didn't know that. Now, I'm not saying I'm going to abide by any of these rules, but how we get there, how we get to, I'm being judgy and passive aggressive by putting a period or a question mark or an exclamation point. Can I put an ampersand? Can I put a semicolon? Like, I don't understand. So I'm trying to understand. I'm not trying real hard because I'm still going to use punctuation in my texts, and I'm also going to go into this shade Explore. But what I realize about the younger folk, they don't be using no punctuation. It's a whole bunch of run-on sentences. Do those even exist anymore? Do we just not acknowledge those? And there's no capitalization of the letters. There's no comma. There's no, like, I don't even understand what emotions you're expressing because you're not giving me any context clues. Like, I'm real uncomfortable with that. And maybe it's because never in my life would I be able to turn in like a paper without punctuation. You know what I mean? Like, or even when I do my clinical notes, I need to use punctuation. You know what I mean? So I don't know if it's because of being in school for like 30 years or if it's because of my career. I'm not sure, but I feel real uncomfortable not using any punctuation. Like, sometimes I won't use punctuation. If I'm sending off a real quick text or if I'm being funny or whatever it is, I might not put punctuation in there. But if I'm like upset with G and he say something, then I'm gonna put a K, and it's a difference between the uppercase and the lowercase K, and I'm not gonna put no punctuation. And I found out that that's also rude unless you are angry or being passive aggressive. And I'm like, well, perfect, because that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm being passive aggressive in place of expressing my anger. So I got that one down. But I don't know. Tell me what you feel about that. Are you not supposed to use punctuation when you're communicating by text? Is it just for like certain age brackets? Like, tell me what you think, especially y'all that have kids. What are they saying? I'm about to poke myself in the eye. So then the other thing, which I can kind of get behind this one, except for certain people. The other thing is, it is rude if you call without texting first to see if the person is available. I can kind of get behind that one. For me, okay? For me, I talk all day, okay? So when I'm done working, I want to have a choice as to whether or not I'm going to talk to you, you know? So apparently you're supposed to text first, and I guess check in and give the person time to like decide whether or not they want to speak to you in this moment. Because if you call and it's not an emergency, you're being incredibly rude. Now, they did say there are exceptions to like family. But I'm like, if we're going to make a rule, it needs to be for everybody, okay? It needs to be a rule that everyone has to abide by. But I can understand the family stuff or like partner stuff, because if my family calls, more often than not, I'm answering. I think part of that is we're on different coasts. So if somebody's calling, especially if they're calling and it's like super early in California, then I'm like, what is happening? Is everybody okay? But also, my family and I, we just talk a lot. Like, you'll be on the phone with one of us, and then we're like, oh, let me bring in so-and-so so they can be on the phone too. Let's have like a little conference call, a little three-way call. So, I don't know. I also feel like if one of my friends calls me out of the blue, maybe because we text so much now, I'm like, are you okay? What's going on? Do you know what I mean? Like, and also, apparently, you're not supposed to really leave a voicemail. And if you do, it needs to be real short. But here's the thing. I need like a medium length voicemail. I don't want it to be too long, but I also don't want it to be too short. When I tell you, I hate the voicemails where it's like, hey, call me back. I need to talk to you. What do you need to talk to me about? I need to be prepared. I need to be ready. I need to have some context so that I'm not freaking out in any way. So I need a little bit more than that. I don't know that I need the full story because maybe I need to respond in some way. So I don't need it to be like 5 minutes long either. But give me a little bit more than call me back. I ain't talk to you. I don't like that. That makes me afraid, feared that I'm going to, I'm going to the principal's office. I know I'm too old for it, but when I was in school, I wasn't getting called to the principal's office. So if I hear that you need to talk to me, I'm in trouble. And I don't like that. I need you to tell me, just tell me what's happening, like, so you can leave me a longer voicemail. But apparently, girl, you're not supposed to be leaving no voicemails for these people. All right, let's go in with a shade from the Sea of Shadows palette or bundle from Divina. I just want to get a thing to take it out. So let's start with this shade, which is Aqua Abyss. This looks really pretty. And I'm also feeling drawn to, well, quite a few of them. This shade is Swirling Waters. That's really pretty. And this is probably more of a, this is like a bluish purple. This is Seaside Horizon. So let's just see how all of these look. I'm just gonna pop them on the eye. Ooh. Yes, ma'am. Ooh, that's pretty. That's super pretty. I really do prefer the Divina shadows that are smoother. I don't as much like the ones that have a bit more texture and are a bit chunkier. Not because they don't perform well, but I just feel like I have more of a chance to like get it all over my face. But girl, let's keep going. Let me teach you some stuff that we all need to know. Oh yeah, because a phone call is intrusive. So don't call nobody unless it's an emergency. Now, for folks in their 20s and 30s, Rose, where on earth did you come from? I don't know, girl. Folks in their 20s and 30s, Rose, listen to this. It's basically not okay to leave a voicemail, period. So most people who see that you've called, rather than listening to the voicemail, they're just going to call you back. But see, you know what? Not for me. If I listen to the voicemail and I can give you a quick response, I'm going to text you the answer. So go ahead and leave me the voicemail because that's saving both of us time. If you call and you're like, hey, what you doing Saturday? I'm gonna text you, girl. I ain't doing nothing but staying up in my house. You know what I mean? Like I don't need to call you back for that. There's your answer. There's your response. So I don't agree with that one. Just yeah. Sometimes like somebody will call and I'm in the middle of doing something and they'll leave a voicemail and I'll just text them like, hey, I'm busy, I'm doing stuff. So I don't know. I don't mind voicemails. I just don't want long ones. And I'm not a fan that these spam callers be leaving voicemails like, we want to buy your house. Listen, how about you buy my student loans? Okay. Now, randomly FaceTiming someone. Y'all, when I saw that people started doing that, I was like, no, I am not here for that. Not here for it one bit. I'm going to tell you that much. Do not, listen, I am in all stages of dress when I'm at home. Sometimes there's nothing on. Sometimes there's something on. Sometimes the bonnet is on, which I don't care if you see that. But like sometimes I haven't found my glasses yet. Like do not FaceTime me without like, we need to set up a meeting time, okay? Do not FaceTime me. Rose, what's happening? Girl, you got about 2 minutes before you need to eat. I find that to be incredibly rude. So people are saying if it's someone close to you, you can do it. But if not, as a general rule, you need to arrange the video call first. I don't care if you live in my house. Do not FaceTime me off the bat. Just don't do it. No, I'm not okay with it. I don't want you to do it. Please don't. Please just don't. And here's a new slang or something. It's called phubbing. Phubbing. So that means when you're like paying attention to your phone instead of paying attention to the person you're engaging with. I can understand that. Like, that's not cool. I don't like that when we're like together and you just on your phone like the whole time. You know what I mean? I'm probably guilty of it at some point. Like, literally, I'm always looking up news. But okay, so, ooh, child, we're gonna have to talk about that. Girl. So one thing that I think comes up a lot is etiquette when you're traveling. We all know something has been unleashed in the public because folks are acting a plumb fool on these airlines. Somebody come get this cat. There are certain things that are just not okay on the airlines. One thing is like how you're acting on the airlines, right? Like on the planes. Like we've seen people acting straight up fools, fighting with the flight attendants, cussing people out. There was one where somebody sprayed some pepper spray in the plane. How you even get that on the plane, I don't even know. But somebody sprayed some pepper spray. Everybody's eyes burning. And you know, you're not supposed to put water. You're supposed to put like milk or something in there. So somebody did that. There was another story of somebody doing cartwheels in the middle of the aisle. This is not a gym. This is not a gym. Even if you're a gymnast, yes, why? Why? There was another story of this young man and this young woman joining the Mile Higher Club or Mile High Club in, you know what that mean, right? You getting it on in the bathroom. They don't even know each other. They just decided we're gonna go back here and get it on. And they come out of the bathroom and the whole plane is clapping. I'm not gonna be clapping for that. First of all, the bathroom is real nasty. The plane bathroom is real nasty. It's real small. Is real small, and now I don't know what kind of juices and fluids you done got in here, and now I'm trying to go pee. No, don't do, that's disgusting, okay? Do it on a private jet. But one thing that I have seen is people just being super rude. There's a story of this guy. He was in first class, and I kind of understand because first class is expensive, right? It's expensive, but if you didn't know, first class, you be getting food, right? And you be getting like 3-course meals. You get a little salad, you get a little roll, you get a little cookie, and you have your entree. Now, you can either choose the meal beforehand, or once you get on, the plane is about time to get food. They'll let you know, we have a short rib tonight, we have a caprese salad, and we have roasted eggplant pasta. Like, they'll tell you, right? So this man, I guess he might have wanted the short rib and they didn't have it. And girl, he flipped out. They had to land the plane somewhere else because he was so mad that they didn't have his short rib. There's a part of me that understands you done paid a lot for that ticket, okay? And you really want the food that you had wanted. I'm gonna go in with this shade. It's called CL. This is a, what is this? Cleona shade. And I'm just gonna put that on top here. It's a lot of fallout. So the ones that get me, that make me feel not okay, those are bad, all right? But the things people are now bringing on the planes, okay, into my space. This one lady, I think I'm gonna go into this shade here. Like, I want to give something purpley pinky. Or I'm just going to go into a whole bunch of them. This one lady decides that she is going to bring on the plane some giraffe poop. You heard me. You heard me. Some giraffe poop. Ma'am, why are you bringing that giraffe on the plane? I was going to make a necklace out of it. Ew. Ew, ew, ew. Ew. Now, if this is a cultural thing, then please, by all means. But I'm not quite sure. I have not heard of it. Not that I'm, you know, the queen of knowing all things cultural. But that's different for me. Having quite, like, can you not like mail it, like ship it? You have to bring it on the plane? Why do you think you can? Do you know, like, who told you that it was okay for you to bring that on the plane? Let's consult. Let's consult with that person. Like, I don't know. Just, that's an interesting thing, you know? But the one that got me that was recently, this is where I was like, I need to do a video. Somebody went to the lavatory on the plane. Went to the lavatory. You know, first of all, I already said it's real small. Many of us have talked about it. It's like, it's basically like, you're like this, right? And you gotta wiggle to like pee, and then maybe you could turn a little bit to wash your hands. You know, it's real small. And already you gotta walk down the aisle and you bouncing off of the headrest and you elbowing people and stuff. Like, it's a real journey. It's a real journey. So this person goes to the lavatory. Child, they go to sit down. They see a little pair of beady eyes. Little pair of eyes staring up at them from the toilet. When I tell you, I would have tore that entire lavatory up. There was one time long ago when the house next door from my parents' house was fumigating. And I was like, something gonna come up over here. Something is going to come up over here up in this house. And when I tell you something did, girl, I was in the bathroom. Mind you, this is a story that it's happened more than once. I was in the bathroom. I was in my most vulnerable state, peeing. And a mouse ran by. I destroyed my parents' restroom. To this day, it's still a little messed up. I pulled down the shower curtain rod, pulled it right out the wall, and then I jumped on top of the toilet, then I jumped on top of the sink, and then I ran across the side of the tub. Like, I was real like Mission Impossible-ing it, real like Charlie's Angels. Mind you, the mouse is sitting there like, are you okay? Child, when I tell you I destroyed that entire house, I'm real surprised that, well, the entire bathroom. I'm real surprised that the neighbors didn't call somebody, because I was screaming as if there was a home invasion, honestly. So imagine if I'm on an airplane. And let me tell you, the second time it happened, it was like the second apartment I got when I moved to Maryland. And again, I was in the bathroom. I was getting ready for church for early morning service. I look up and there's a mouse. Girl, I moved out. I got out of that apartment immediately. I called the emergency line for the apartment and they were like, ma'am, this is not an emergency. And I was like, I am having a mental health emergency because there is a mouse. Girl, when I tell you, I was like, y'all need to move me. They moved me because I was like, I'm not going back up in there. Throw it all away. I'm not going back up in there. So they moved me. Anyway, but let me tell you about this one. You ever seen an otter? Have you seen an otter? I have not. I don't know what an otter looks like. But after this lady done went in the toilet and saw a rodent with red eyes near the toilet, it says she alerted the flight attendants. You alerted them? I could have had my pants down around my ankles and I would have ran out that bathroom. You just gonna see a little bit of booty today because I'm not sitting. No. So the flight attendants, they start searching the cabin and they see an otter underneath a seat. And they wrapped, scurrying around the floor. Give me a parachute and let me jump my ass out of this plane. Okay? No. And somebody was saying, oh, it's a pet rat. It's a pet rat. I don't care if it's a pet chinchilla. I don't care what it is. But it had a white body and it's not small. Y'all playing around. Y'all playing around too much. Some people were pulling up their feet on their seats. I think I would need sedation. They would have to give me something to sedate me. And then one of the flight attendants was trying to pick up a marmoset. I didn't even know what that was. It's like some little, like a monkey or something. I looked it up. And the marmoset bit the flight attendant's hand. And then, after the flight landed, I would have parachuted out. Officers from the Animal Inspection Bureau entered the plane and discovered a box containing several otters, rats, unidentified rodents, and 28 tortoises. What are the unidentified rodents? What are the... Y'all, when I tell you, you know, I've been telling you stories about animals invading. What is an unidentified rodent? Because, okay, we got the otters, we got the rats, we got the turtles, the tortoises. What are the 28 unidentified rodents? Let me know what those are. I don't care about the other ones. I mean, okay, but at least I can name those. At least those are on the list of animals that exist. I want to know what the unidentified rodents are. I want to know who had them in a box. I want to know how they got them on the plane. And I want to know where they were going. Y'all, like my heart is racing. I couldn't do it. I could... Whew. Okay, a woman is being investigated on suspicion of smuggling. Suspicion? She did it! Y'all. How she get them? How she get that box? How she get that box under there? How she get... I'm just not okay. That is the most egregious violation of etiquette I have ever heard of. Well, not really, but that one right there, no. I would need to sue for pain and suffering and mental anguish, because I guarantee you my heart would have been outside my chest. We would have been holding on to it. I would have just like threw it up and we would be holding on to my heart because it would just be beating so fast outside my chest. All right. Y'all, let me do the rest of my face and I'll be right back. Okay, y'all, here's the finished look. I couldn't even really pull it together because I'm just so activated by that last story and the unidentified rodents, 28 of them. But y'all, you don't need Natasha's new palette. Look through your collection. I'm sure you have the colors. They might be in different palettes. So if you don't like pulling from different palettes, you just want one solid 5-pan blue eyeshadow palette, like maybe that's what you want. But I also feel like places like Beauty Bay and just like indie brands might have like better choices. So think about it. Whew, girl, let me know if you have heard any of these stories. Let me know if you can identify rodents so that we can consult and figure this out. Also, let me know if you have any stories. There's one story that Tracy sent me that I'm gonna have to talk about it. But feel free to DM me or leave a comment, and I will do my best to look the story up and we're gonna talk about it. Just so you know, these are my in the moment reactions. Like I'll sort of like see headlines or like skim real quick just to see if it's something I'm interested in, and then I wait to do these videos and that's when I kind of like really read through and get more information and not just the gist of it. So this is the real me. And I know it's a lot, so I completely understand if you cannot deal with it and you don't want to. But for those of you who do, thank you for watching. Thank you so much for commenting also. Thank you for liking the video and subscribing to the channel. I really appreciate it. I do hope that you are continuing to take care of yourself and that some of this was helpful. Well, that's about it. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.